okay to play? He's not playing.
Cam recognized that voice immediately. He sat up and swung his legs around, jumping off of the gurney onto the soft grass. A wave of nausea crashed over him, causing Cam to sway. Coach Mayberry had his arms crossed as he stared at Cam with his all-seeing eyes.
I'm putting Rayburn on. The rookie,
Dan said.
He hasn't played a game since he joined us. That's a fucking terrible idea.
Coach gave the quarterback one of his famous ironclad glares, then looked back at Cam.
Hartson, you're off. Go see the doctor and do what he tells you, including going to the hospital if needed. I'll talk to you tomorrow. But, Coach, I'm fine.
Ignoring the jabbing pain in his head, Cam walked toward him.
If I can walk, I can damn well run. There are only 20 minutes left. Let me play.
A flicker of sympathy flashed over the coach's face, and that was worse than seeing his anger. Cam didn't want sympathy, didn't need it. He was the Bobcats' best-paid player, had been their safety since he was drafted 9 years ago, and had played nearly every game in that time. That spot was his, had been since he was a rookie. But those years had taught him something else. You didn't argue with the coach during the middle of a game. He was the general, and the players were the soldiers. You kept the discussions for when the battle was over.
Okay,
Cam sighed, nodding his head. He winced at the white-hot pain that stung at his eyes.
The rookie can go on for 20 minutes, but he needs to know one thing.
His voice was full of determination.
That position is still mine.
You have a choice to make, the doctor said 2 days later as Cam sat in his office and looked at the screen in front of him. He'd been in for an MRI scan earlier that day, and they were discussing the results. You give up football, or you end up with a traumatic brain injury. It's that stark, Mr. Hartson. Cam ran his tongue along his bottom lip.
What about treatment?
He asked.
Something to get me through the season.
There was no way he was giving up now. He'd signed a contract. After he fulfilled it, he would consider retirement. Not before. There is no treatment. TBIs are permanent. Look at what happened to Junior Seau, Sean Morey. Damn it, Aaron Hernandez, if you really want to know the worst-case scenarios. TBIs were the dark shadow that followed defensive football players around. The constant collisions as they defended could lead to traumatic brain injuries, which in turn could lead to something worse, like the chronic traumatic encephalopathy that footballers like Junior Seau and Sean Morey suffered from, leading to memory loss, sudden outbreaks of anger, and, in Seau's case, suicide.
Shit.
Cam squeezed his eyes shut. The pain in his head still hadn't quite gone away.
It's that bad?
The doctor's tone softened.
Look, those are worst-case scenarios, and hopefully we've caught this in time. You've been having brain scans for a year, and you can see the deterioration in your brain, but it hasn't reached crisis level yet.
The doctor cleared his throat.
But if you carry on playing football, it will. Another concussion could be the end of life as you currently know it.
Cam had watched the replay of his collision 5 times since yesterday. It had been brutal, the way they always were. He had gone up against the wide receiver, both trying to catch the ball, and their helmets had collided in midair. Cam's head had bent back almost 90 degrees, and, as he'd suspected, his helmet had flown off in one direction while his body hurled to the ground in the other. He must have been knocked out on impact with the wide receiver, because he hadn't even put his hands out to brace himself as his body collided with the ground. He'd looked more like a rag doll than a damn football player. He still didn't remember a second of it. Of course, he knew it was himself as he was watching, not only from the number on his back and helmet, but from the way he played. He spent half of his life watching his own football games. He could spot his tells in an instant. And yet, he didn't remember a thing. Not from the play being called to waking up on the grass. He didn't remember going in for the ball.